I'm Barb Gilmore with Garden City Flower. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'm going to show you guys today how to make elastic strips for masks. I'm using Suayla's mask pattern, and I think it's Suayla.com. She has a free mask pattern there, and that's the one that I like the best as far as fit goes. This one has a filter pocket in there. I've done a video on how to put the mask together, plus how to sew the chin piece on, because that one's a little bit tricky. They're rough videos, guys. I don't do sewing videos normally. I'm a baker. So anyhow, but I'm going to show you how I've created the elastic pieces because I didn't have any elastic for the mask. Another thing that I've done is, this is one of the first masks that I did, and I sewed the dart seam allowance all the way into 3/8 inches, which makes the mask a little bit smaller. So I'll show you guys when I do a close-up on how to cut the leggings, what I'm doing with the darts, because I think the way I have it now, the darts come in about right here. You have a little bit more mask room. And anyway, this is a great mask. It has I'm using bread ties for the nose. Use whatever you have. And it ties, it fits really good. I have shop towels that go in for the filters, and it works really well. So anyhow, I hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, don't give it a thumbs down, guys. I did these videos for free and somebody thumbed down my other videos, and I'm like heartbroken about it. So anyway, give me a thumbs up and give me a following if you want to see some other fun videos, probably baking videos since I have a bakery, but I occasionally could throw a sewing video in there. I don't know, but thanks for watching, y'all. Hey guys, okay, so I wanted to just show y'all how I made the elastic for my mask. This is the pattern, Suayla.com, and I'll also put it, I don't think it'll hyperlink, I don't know how to do it, but I'll put the website in my text of the video. I'm not associated with that company whatsoever. I just like her mask pattern. So anyway, I just want to show you guys how I did it. So this is all legging fabric. These are solid leggings, but I have a variety of crazy legging patterns. I was in the legging phase back a few years ago, and if you guys have a bunch of leggings, or you know somebody that has a bunch that you know, doesn't wear them and they're willing to give them to you, they can be used ones, whatever, just wash them, dry them, and they're ready to go. The other thing to do is to contact any like local clothing distributors and ask them if they have any damaged leggings. You could use those. That would be really good. I used a ton of damaged leggings. So anyway, and it's just fun to kind of mix up the patterns with your fabric colors that you have, you know, and kind of coordinate them. So moving on. So I take the leggings, and the bigger the leggings, the better. That's going to give you more fabric, okay? So I take the leggings, and the first thing I do is I'm going to cut out 2 strips from the waistband. And what I do is I get the fabric right, I want to make sure you guys can see it, right under, there's an elastic piece right here, but unfortunately that elastic doesn't come out. My initial plan was to cut the elastic out, but the elastic does not come out. So I just like put a hole right here with a pair of sharp scissors, and then I take some fabric scissors and I cut that elastic out, okay, just like this. So I'm going to cut that elastic piece off. So I'm cutting through both pieces of the fabric for the waistband, okay? And I'm going to do that all the way around, and then I'll be back and show you what to do now. Okay, so I just cut that bit, the top elastic part, totally out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing right down here. I'm going to take a little snip at the bottom here, and I'm going to trim as close as I can and as straight as I can, all the way down on the edge of that waistband right there. So I'm basically taking that strip off, okay? That's where I start. I'm also going to use the legs too, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But I start with the waistband first, getting some big, nice long pieces from the waistband. Okay, so I cut the waistband totally off. Here's the bottom of the leggings. And I just tried to go as straight as I could, to be as careful as I could. So when you do that, you're going to have 2 pieces here. And those 2 pieces should be totally separate. Okay, and then what I do is I turn it inside out, turn that waistband fabric inside out. And now I don't have a cutting mat. I used to have a cutting mat. I don't know what I did with it. But so this is a cutting board, y'all, but if you have a cutting mat and one of these little razor cutters, it really helps make things go quicker. I cut my pattern pieces out for my mask on this cutting board with this little roller thing. So I just try to get this really straight, and then I take the roller and I'm gonna cut this piece into straight down the middle. and then I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I'll do part of this, and just like this. I don't measure it. I mean, nothing is totally exact. I probably should measure it, but I don't. And like that. If you order one of these because you don't have one, the first time I got that, I cut my hands up because I did not realize how sharp it was. Be super careful with it because it is literally a razor roller. Okay, so now I have these two separate pieces, right? So what this will do when you take it like this, I take it and then I'm gonna pull it like this. Oh, sorry. I'm not a professional videographer. I pull it and then it rolls up, okay? So see how nicely it rolls up? All right, just like that. The only issue that I have with this is that as far as using it on the mask, is that right where those seams are sewn together right there, it doesn't roll. So what I do is I take this and I give it a roll right here, and I tack it down with my sewing machine so it's straight. I did that there, and I did that on all of these. The first mask that I did this on, I tried to just put the seam like in the middle of the nose piece so I wouldn't have it out in here. It just looked off center and it made the nose on the mask look funny, so I don't do that anymore. So what I do is once I've pulled it like this, I actually am going to take it, and here's my two end seams here, okay? I'm gonna cut one of these in the middle, like that. Oh, these scissors need to be sharpened. I'm gonna cut one of these in the middle, just like that. This is gonna be the piece that I use either top or bottom, okay? And I'm actually going to, and I'll do another video. I can't remember in the other video if I showed you guys how to sew this on. I'll look and see if I did. If I didn't, I'll show you guys how to do it. But that's what I use to sew that on there. And then on these little ends right here, I've rolled that in and I've tacked it. I do not sew a seam down the whole thing just because I have a 31-year-old sewing machine that is a very basic sewing machine, and it does not like to sew on this fabric. If I had a really good, nice sewing machine and I could put a nice little seam down there, I would, but you really can't tell. Nobody's gonna tell when they have that tied on their head because it rolls up on itself. They're not gonna be able to tell that that doesn't have a finished edge on it because it's rolled up in there. But you do have to put a finished edge on any place that there is a little buckle from the seam. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask me questions, okay? So for the waistband, I'm gonna get 4 pieces. So for the waistband, I will actually get 2 full masks out of that, okay? Because I use 1 waistband piece for each either top or bottom of the mask, okay? So for that waistband, I will get 4 of these. Now, what I do for the legs, and this one is a little bit more tricky, and I do have to use scissors on this one, and I'm gonna take the leggings and let's see here, put it like front side towards you like this, and then I take the leggings, and I hope this helps somebody, and then I just cut just right up because I'm gonna take that leg off just like this. Okay. You want to make sure you're only cutting 1 layer, okay? And the most difficult part is just kind of flipping it and keeping it straight. And again, make sure you're only cutting 1 layer. And then when you get to this with the seam, it's like, especially until you can get it going, you've got to kind of go over that. Again, it's like you're peeling an apple in 1 piece. I hope that helps somebody make some sense of it. It's not going to be totally straight, but nobody's going to know that when you pull it and it rolls up together. Nobody's going to know that it's not straight. And just hold that up so you're not cutting the back side of the leg. And if anyone has an easier way when you try it, let me know what that is. But I mean, it takes a minute to get this cut out, but you'll get several masks out of this. Okay, I'm almost to the end here of this leg, of this legging. And depending on the size of your legging, especially if they're smaller, you may opt to end sooner because you're just going to keep every single place that you cut over the seam, you're going to have to tack down. So just remember that, which I mean really isn't a lot of work, but it does take a minute to do that. So sometimes I'll go, okay, I'm done with that. Let me go on to another pair because I have a ton of these. Okay, so we're gonna stop right up here and I'm just gonna cut it off right here. All right, so let me show you guys what I have. I have this great big long piece of fabric. This is all that legging leg, okay? And there's gonna be some places where I first started it that looks kind of wonky, like right there, right as you start it and you're starting to kind of get off center, like you're doing that funny apple peel. So just, you can still work with that. I just like trim that off right there. And it'll be fine. Once you pull it, it's gonna roll up together, it'll be fine. So what I do is I measure like how many inches that you're gonna need for your tie. Okay, so go ahead and then measure that. And then just like we did on the waistband pieces, you're gonna take it and you're gonna pull it so you get that, that it rounds up together. And I think this is the same way they do those t-shirt ties. But okay, so why do I cut it like one big long strip of an apple around the leg versus just cutting the legging fabric leg straight up? So the reason that I do that, because I tried it, because I was like, oh, well, I could just take the legging and just cut it, you know, into strips like this. When I pulled them to get them to go together like this, they went together backwards like this. If you cut it this direction, then the pattern rolls up on the inside, which really is no big deal. It's still going to work the same, but I wanted it to look pretty and I didn't want it to look like the tie was inside out. So that's why I cut it around the leg, and it's the same thing as bias tape is. So basically that's cutting the fabric on the bias. When you do it up, you know, up and down, you're not getting that same effect, so it doesn't roll right. So that is why I cut it around the leg. So I can get 2 masks out of the waistband and then several masks from one leg. So I just go down the strip of fabric, I go ahead and pull it all, and then you can take every single spot that has where the seam is, you're going to take that seam and you're going to roll it together, and then you're going to tack that down with your machine for every single one of these. And for the first few places where there's a seam, you're going to have that bobbly piece of fabric, and I just cut that off right there. Once you get further down the leg, it starts adjusting and all of that starts evening out, and you don't have that little extra piece there. So just go ahead and pull it all the way down, and then do all of your little seams, just roll it together and tack it. And then you have like a ton of elastic you can use. So you could take, you know, several hours and just cut several pair of leggings, go ahead and make up a bunch of elastic parts. That way, like I have a stack of these. That way you're ready to go when you're ready to put your masks together. It's a little extra work, but when you don't have elastic and you have leggings, it really does work. It makes a difference. And I was gonna show you guys the darts. So I think what I'm gonna start doing on my darts is when I go to cut out my pattern, I'm going to just clip right here and mark where the point of the dart is and just sew it in like a traditional dart versus cutting the darts in. But what I'm doing now when I sew the darts, because if you sew the darts at 3/8 inch, like the pattern says, when you put the dart together and you go to sew it at 3/8 inch, if you actually sewed it at 3/8 inch here and 3/8 inch here, that's going to put you bringing that dart way in. And like this one, it's way in on the middle, and there's another one I did that it's super far in. So what I've started doing is I start 3/8 inch right here on the dart, and then as I sew into the point of the dart, I get more narrow and more narrow. So I start out there, but then I sew in more narrow, and I got to leave enough room. I don't want it to come apart on somebody, but I don't carry it all the way out to here. And I think what I'm going to start doing is just not cutting those notches out and just sewing it like a traditional dart. And then once I sew it, then just clipping out, you know, what I need. So that's a couple different ways that you could do that. But I hope this video helps somebody. And you know, if you put on your Facebook, hey, who has a bunch of leggings or damaged leggings, you might get some former clothing sales people that might be able to donate some damaged leggings for you to pick up or something. This has worked great. So thanks so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up and follow my